Chasing purpose is a journey of self-love, self-development, healing, and spirituality.
Life's best kept secret? Simple. Show up. Show up when you're tired. You're down. Show up after defeat. Show up when you're stressed, when you're worried. Show up when you don't feel like it. In fact, that's when it's most important to show up. That becomes the great differentiator. See, a lot of us, somewhere along the way, we adopt this idea that winning is about the home run. It's stepping up to the plate and swinging so hard that the ball leaves the park and it never comes back to earth. And while, yeah, that's a fantastic sentiment, and if or when that happens, that's great. But sustained success isn't one monumental occurrence. It's little victories, consistently occurring over and over and over. Very small. In fact, to those walking by, they're probably too ordinary to be considered successful or acknowledged. They're too mundane. They're only victories because you decided they are. And when you think about it, the evidence is out there. Right? Successful teams don't build game plans around the Hail Mary with no time left on the clock. No, they show up every day and master the task in front of them. They compound the opportunity available on a daily basis because it's there, and that puts them in a position to execute. However the situation unfolds. They showed up when it quote-unquote didn't matter, and that of course means everything.
Show up. Show up when you're tired. Show up when you don't want to. Show up when you feel like the world is on your shoulders. Show up. As the person in the video said, it's not so much about the home run, but it's about stepping up to the plate and swinging with all your might. And you may not hit it out the park the very first time, but the point is that you showed up. That's what we're talking about today, showing up, not just for yourself, but for others, for those around you, for your loved ones, for your friends. How are you showing up? To show up for ourselves is being aware of our moment and loving ourselves the right way at that moment on purpose. Right? Loving ourselves on purpose, another way of showing up with our flaws and all. Showing up for ourselves and making sure that when we're showing up that we are giving the best of ourselves. And you're not always going to want to. Trust and believe. Start right here at home in your own body, your mind, and your heart. Show up for yourself by being present with what is happening internally for you. Body sensations, emotions, and thoughts. If you're used to ignoring these signals, they will seem quiet and fleeting at first. The more you pay attention, the more messages you will hear. Truth. If you're in tune to your body speaks to you. It tells you when you don't feel well. The body sends you signals. Listen to those signals. When you notice that you're being triggered, it could manifest as a tightening in the belly, a lump in the throat, or feeling resentment. See if you can pause and sit in this discomfort for a bit rather than dismissing it. A lot of us feel things and, we quickly want to dispel them and get them away. But what if we sat with it to understand what those feelings are? It's a part of showing up for yourself. Understanding why you were triggered, understanding why that lump in your throat, why is your tummy in butterflies, what's happening in the moment, what's happening around you, what's happening in your space. It's a part of showing up for yourself. What's causing you to feel this way? It's the first step. The first area to practice is with yourself. How can I show up consistently to transform your life, right? How can showing up consistently transform your life? Because this is also what we're talking about, is kind of transforming and growing, evolving into our better and best selves, being excellent. You start focusing on the process instead of the outcome. That's a big one. We did a show before on Chasing Purpose called Trusting the Process. It is in the processes where you're going to get those lessons. In the processes where you're going to see the growth. In the processes where you're going to find yourself. Not so much about the destination, it's the journey. That's where you grow, in the journey, along the way. In other words, you focus on doing the job and taking the right steps towards your goal. You remain open and accepting of the results of your actions. Just do the best work that you can. Give it all you got. The world needs the best you. Your job needs the best you. Your husband needs the best you. Your children need the best you. Your friends, your parents, they need the best you. The best you. Better overall performance. When you're focused on the process or task, you're more present. When you're focused. Every morning I ask God to give me focus and clarity, so that whatever it is I'm doing, whether it be in my professional life or my personal life, I'm focused. So when you're not focused, you're distracted. If you guys heard me kind of hesitate before the break, I was distracted because I was watching CNN. I don't even know why they have this on in here. There's another school shooting in America. You have to be focused on what you're doing. When you can pour your energy into the task at hand or into interacting with your fellow human beings, that's when you give your best self. You're not under pressure to achieve a specific goal, so you'll experience less stress and your performance will soar. You bounce back from setbacks more easily. Another tip. This attitude will enable you to recover from obstacles in your path and move on to the next opportunity. What does that mean? When you have a setback, do you sit and dwell in it? Does it consume your entire day, week, month sometimes? No, when we have setbacks, we need to just kind of look at it for what it is, take the lessons, and get up and bounce back. We can't dwell in the setbacks. We're not going backwards, we're moving forwards. We are moving forward, guys. So my question to you is, how are you showing up for yourself? How are you giving your best self? And if you're not feeling like your best self right now as you're listening to me, why is that? Lean into why that is. Try to figure that out. In the next hour, we're going to be talking to Naomi Garrick of Garrick Communications and the PR chick, and she is going to be talking to us about core values, mission statements, how she puts herself out there, how she brands herself, and how important it is for us to make sure that we are showing up for ourselves, right? What does that look like? Do we know that we're a brand? Do we understand that we look at brands, right? What are some brands? We're a brand. The Bridge 99 FM is a brand. Chasing Purpose is a brand. JPS, although they're a brand. KFC is a brand. REJ Radio, they're a brand. But you too, you right now, Tom, Dick, Harry, Naomi, Dominique, Gifty, you're a brand. We are all brands. What is your brand identity? What are your core values? What's your North Star? We're going to be talking to her about that. We're going to be possibly formulating or helping to formulate what our brand should look like. We as individuals, what should our brand look like? How do we show up for our brand, which is ourselves? Look in the mirror and say, I am a brand. Hi, my name is Cynthia Shea and I am a brand. Practice with me. We are nurturing faith. We are setting intentions. We're pursuing aspirations, all while living boldly. Today, we're talking about showing up for ourselves. What does that look like? Not just for ourselves, but for others, our loved ones, our friends, our peers. How are we showing up? We are jump into our purposeful leadership segment here. And as I said to you in the last hour, we're going to be having I'll just introduce her. Today, we have a very special guest for today's Purposeful Leadership segment who specializes in helping people be more intentional about the way they show up. She's a public relations consultant, author, international speaker, personal branding coach, and brand strategist that helps individuals, entrepreneurs, corporate executives, and CEOs to discover, define, and develop their unique personal brand in order to effectively communicate their expertise and stand out in their craft or industry, both on and offline. Essentially, she's a brand builder. Remember, I was talking before the commercial break about brands, us being brands. She is also the founder of Garrick Communications, a boutique PR agency, and a certified reputation champion. Oh, I love that. By the Public Relations Society of America, PRSA, with over 20 years of experience in public relations and marketing, with working with over 100 brands and individuals. She's also a contributing writer for entrepreneur.com. So without further ado, I tell you, Dominique, I need a bullhorn or a drum roll when my guests come on. Please welcome to Chasing Purpose, Naomi Garrick. Naomi, hello.
Hello.
So we were having some amazing conversations. This is already looking like a part 2, guys, off air. And Dominique, get ready with my gem identifier. And Bridge Nation, our Gem fam, please, journals, pens, glass of wine, water, whatever suits your boat, because we are going to get into it. Naomi.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll start with this. Today we're talking about showing up. How are you showing up?
Well, I mean, what's funny is that I came in pink,
yes,
right? And two people, when I walked through this building, asked me if that's my favorite color.
Yeah.
And, shocker, but it's not.
Which is, if you guys follow the PR chick, right, on Instagram.
Yes.
And you will see why those two persons, I was one of them, asked her, is pink her favorite color? We're talking about brand and brand identity. Pink is something that...
It's my brand color.
Yeah.
So my favorite color, which I was corrected this morning, it's not a color, it's a shade, is black, right? I like black. But when I started my company 13 years ago, I wanted my logo to have black, white, and pink, because pink just represents, I think, fun, creativity, it's a little girly and stuff. So I wanted to have corporate but cool and fun, but still professional. And since then, we've always kind of incorporated pink. And then our clients, people we work with, started really realizing that we use pink a lot. People started calling us the PR chicks, and then pink just became our brand color. And now, by association, people associate this hot pink, I like to call it PR chick pink, with me.
Yes.
And so now I can't help myself. So as you see, coffee cup is pink, nails are pink, top is pink, shoes are pink.
It almost comes like a second nature to you.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
So everything's pink, but it's actually not my favorite color. But it's my brand color.
But it's
so
your
it's
brand
a part
color.
of my brand.
So we were talking off air, and even before when we were on air, saying that we should be identifying that we as individuals, we are brands.
Absolutely.
Right? And we need to show up as a brand. I want us to kind of talk about core values. What are some of the core values that we need to have, or individuals need to have, and how can we make sure? How do we get that mindset? We're talking about mindset also, that we are a brand, and when we step out there, we need to be showing up for ourselves because we're representing our brand, which is ourselves.
Sure, absolutely. So what I will start with talking about is just what personal branding is, right? Because I think that's where we have a problem. As you said, people don't realize that we're actually brands. Like everyone in this room watching, you already are a personal brand, right? why I think it has become so relevant now is because now everyone has access to your personal brand. So we have the internet. You can you meet someone now, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to check out their Instagram or you're going to Google them. And depending on what you see, you make a decision about how you feel about this person, whether you want to interact and engage with this person, whether you want to recommend them to someone, just by what we see. And so we have to now realize that we have a responsibility to protect this brand that we're creating, which is actually just your reputation. And in order to do that is that we have to start with getting that clarity. And clarity for me means looking at things like what are your core values? What is your driving force? So what's the thing that gets you up in the morning? Why are you posting on social media today? Why are you in this job? Why do you do what you do? And then also, what is important to me? So the core values for me starts everything, because it determines who do you interact with. It even determines what you share on your online platforms. It determines the jobs that you want, right? And what is the plan that you have for your life, instead of just going aimlessly into things. It's about setting goals for yourself, short-term, long-term, professional, and personal goals. And then also looking at what are you passionate about? What are the things that come naturally to you? Because my core values are going to be different from someone else. Like for me, a number one core value for me is relationships. I'm very relationship driven. And I think that is something that has allowed me to have a company for 13 years. We've never had to advertise our business, right? So
that's a big deal,
relationships that I built from when I was in university, hospitality school, working at RETV, to now, and they are still relationships that serve me to this day. But then in addition to relationships, it's communication. I'm naturally a communicator, and so that's a big part of everything that I do. And then things like just trust and values and those things, but we have to start with getting the clarity. I think once we do that introspection and you have clarity on who you are and what your core values are, things that are most important to you or your passions, then you can start looking at what's my unique value. So what's the value that I offer based on my own journey that is different from everybody else in the world? And we spoke about that earlier, right? When I say to people that you're not your job title. And not because you have the same job title as someone else, but you do it differently. There's no one in the world that does what you do the way that you do it. But a lot of times I feel like we're so focused on the future and what we still want and what we need to achieve and all these things that we actually don't take time to appreciate the journey. And that's where we actually get to learn the things that allow us to stand out from our experiences, right? So from your experiences, your skills, your knowledge, your expertise. So I believe very strongly, this is my favorite quote, the journey is the reward, because everything that we do makes us who we are today.
I mean, I'm sorry, my producer's slipping because thank you. You're late, okay? You're late. But the journey is the reward. That is on the journey. That's where you even the
bad things. So that's my thing. The potholes, everything. It makes you who you are today. So like a lot of people don't know that I actually did not graduate from university. So I don't have a degree in anything, even though I studied hotel and tourism for 4 years. But all of those things are part of my journey map. So I do journey mapping with clients for them to take that time. So it's actually looking backwards, looking at all of these things that happened in your life. For some people, it could have been a death in the family. It could have been a divorce. But there's always these little bumps or potholes or whatever that you kind of have to swerve. But you have to go through them to reach to the other side. And sometimes it's necessary for us. And we spoke again earlier about the fact that we have to learn to fail forward. So everything that happens in our lives,
we have to fail forward, guys.
Yeah, we have to learn to fail forward, right? Because and appreciate whatever the experience is. And we may not understand it in the moment, but if you do a journey mapping exercise and you look back, you can see where you were at this point, where you are today, how you got through this thing. But it also allows you to say what I don't need in my life anymore. Right? So I may have made these goals 10 years ago, but based on these things that have happened, maybe that's not me anymore, because your brand is still evolving, right?
That's another thing too. We're always
evolving.
Yes.
Right? Michelle Obama says it in her book Becoming. It's one of my favorite books. You know, we are becoming this person that we were meant to be. So
yes. Is there a correlation between executive presence and personal branding?
So executive presence is really just a more fancy way for corporate executives, right? So it's ensuring that you are positioning yourself as a specific expert in your field. So that means for an executive that's looking for executive presence, then for me, I would want to find out why, right? And who are they trying to reach? Because the third part of what I was going to say is that once you have that clarity, you understand your unique value, it's communication. But in order to communicate, you have to know who you are trying to reach.
Yes.
So who's your ideal audience, because it's not everybody, right? And when you know that, then even online, you know where to show up online. So you could be spending all your time on Instagram or TikTok, but maybe your ideal audience lives on
Facebook
or LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn, yes.
Right? Which is the
right.
home of professionals.
Yes.
And so we have to do all those things in order to position, package, and promote this brand. So for someone that wants executive presence, it's important to know what's the long-term and short-term goal for this executive presence that you're trying to create? Who needs to see you and why? And when you do show up, what do you want them to walk away with? So a big part of personal branding for me is understanding what do you want to be known for, right? What do you want to be the go-to person in your industry for? So when this topic comes up, or if someone searches on Google, not by your name, but just by the topic, because they may not know who you are yet, you are coming up as an option or the obvious choice. Right? So executive presence, personal branding, positioning, the ultimate goal is to be known for a thing so that you are top of mind when this subject matter comes up.
We spoke also, we did a lot of talking off air.
We did a lot of talking.
About collaboration versus competitiveness. I was saying to Naomi that I find, we both were saying that women, in particular, we seem to, there's this we're frowned upon. Collaboration is frowned upon. It's not really something that is embraced. And I want to find a way to kind of move away from that. How do you think we can, and we talked about mindset also. I think it's a mindset thing. How do we move from competitiveness to collaboration, or more of?
Sure. So for me, I've always believed in collaboration. And we spoke earlier about another colleague of mine. We're in the same industry. People would see us as direct competitors, but we've always believed in collaboration. So when we both started, we started with nothing. And I mean, at one point we were working together from her kitchen.
Wow.
So on a shared client, because we realized if we worked together, we would have bigger opportunities with our small agencies.
Yep.
Right? And then not only that, you realize that you cannot do everything. So you are not the best at all the things. So you want to find people that add additional value to what you offer.
Exactly, add value,
right?
yes.
And that way you can charge more, and you can look at bigger, better opportunities together that you both benefit from. What I do think is that I think that maybe a few generations before us, it was a lot harder because there were less women seated at the various tables, right? Or in these spaces. And so it's almost like, again, we have this scarcity mindset where we feel like if I bring someone else in, there might not be enough for me anymore, or maybe it's not going to be me at all.
Yeah.
The great thing I find what's happening with this new generation, and people talk a lot about Gen Z and all these things, but they're not like that previous generation. They are all about collaboration, and they want to work with everyone. So there is a shift happening. But I think for people in my generation, I think we're getting it too, but maybe a little bit above that. We have to realize that there is strength in numbers, and that when we collaborate, we can do so much more and better things together. So, you know, it's about having more of these kinds of conversations, but it really does go back to that mindset, right? Limiting beliefs about ourselves as well, because a lot of times it's not them, it's us.
I said this. Yes, right? It is.
So it's never them.
Yeah. It's us.
So we have to sometimes just do that, again, going back to that introspection. But I do believe that there is a lot of scarcity mindset here. That's why, you know, we talk so much about bad mind here in Jamaica. And that we need to develop more of a abundance mentality, right? Where we know that.
So bad mind is we're welcoming abundance,
right?
Mind.
So we know that there are opportunities for us, and even if we don't get all the opportunities, that's fine. Yeah. Maybe that one wasn't for you, and there's something better waiting around the corner. So I actually on my phone, and you guys can do this, I have an alert that goes off every hour on the hour between 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it's just some kind of quote about abundance every single hour. It's just a reminder that's set in my phone so that it kind of reminds me all the time, because we're human beings and there are times where we have self-doubt and all these things.
Yes, of course.
But it reminds me that, guess what? There is enough for me. The universe, God will provide. And I just need to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I love that. So. Okay, we're setting reminders. we're downloading maybe a motivational app. I have the motivation app, and we're going to the filter that says abundance. We're going to set the alarm because that's how we're building that mindset.
Yeah, you have to train your brain.
You have to train the brain.
You have to train the brain.
Train the brain. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're training the brain to have an abundance mindset.
Yeah, and then when you have that mindset, it's just like doors open, opportunities open, opportunities. That's why, like when they say, the more you give, the more you get. It's the same thing.
It is. The more, and there's so much.
And with a good heart, that's key. With a good heart.
I'm not. All right, we're going to move on because, yes. How important is accessing our values and our purpose in the process of deciding how we want to show up?
Oh, well, the values for me is that's what, so you that's talked about, you have your gems, right?
Yeah.
That's where the gems are because we all have unique value. Yeah. And again, I think we are all the heroes of our very own movies. If we would just take the time to look at our own hero's journey, right? We all have a very interesting, captivating story. Yes. And when we talk about work, again, just because of it could be not even, and that's why I mentioned the story about not having a degree. Even without a degree, it's because of my experiences, the mindset, mentorship, speaking with the right people, not being afraid to try new opportunities. That has led me to understanding where my skill set really, really was, which was communication. Trying out things from being a publicist to having an agency to doing now personal branding and speaking international and all these things. Each experience has been a stepping stone to where I am today, right? And so you have to take that time to really respect your journey.
Yeah. Respect that's really your journey. Respect your journey. And what Naomi, what you said, we all are heroes in our own right. We all have an amazing story. It's for us really to do you call it the journey mapping.
The journey mapping.
I strongly believe that we are all born, gifted with a purpose. And it's just for us, wherever you are right now in life, just to look back over your life. Because life would have given you, God would have dropped little cues.
Listen, there's a quote I'm going to share with you after because I don't know it, verbatim. But I found it in a book that I'm reading called Big Magic. So I read a lot.
Yes,
right?
no, I love that same. So
it's called Big Magic, and I remember in just the first few pages, she made this comment, and I can't remember the quote exactly, but she speaks about God or the universe like dropping these little hidden jewels inside of us. And they wait to see if we actually will discover them, right? To really discover who we are and the treasures that we have within. So that's another one of my favorite books is The Alchemist, which also talks about that, right? Finding your treasure, which is it's here.
Yeah,
everything's inside you.
It's here. We need to be looking at the clarity, right? We need to look at the unique value, and we need to figure out how we're communicate.
But you know what? Why I think what makes it difficult is that we live in this digital era, social media, right? Yeah. Which is a great thing because it allows us to reach out to people and just connect online. And like if I wanted to DM Oprah, I could DM Oprah. Yes. She may not DM me back, but I could try. We couldn't do that before. Yeah. But what it does expose us to is a lot of other people and things happening, and you see everybody doing the most and you're not doing anything, and so the self-doubt creeps in and the limiting beliefs, and that's why.
How do you combat that?
And so what I think is great for that, because imposter syndrome, we all suffer from it, right? Yes. I have a friend that thinks that imposter syndrome is a farce. It's not real, but it's the fact that we actually don't appreciate our journey. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. So what I actually do to help me with that sometimes, because that was a big issue for me because I didn't have a degree in communications. Yeah. I stopped myself from applying for great opportunities, bidding for amazing projects until, I had to just give myself a good shaking.
You're speaking to my whole soul.
Which happened to me in 2017 when I read The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Okay. That changed my whole everything.
The Year of Yes. All right. So Big Magic, The Year of Yes.
The Alchemist.
I'm reading that now.
Yeah. And it was a big shift for me. And I had to realize that, listen, you have all this experience from your own journey that you can deliver PR communication in a different way. And because of your relationships, you've built all these relationships with the media, etc. And sometimes we have to just realize that to combat imposter syndrome, what I do is I will do a journey mapping exercise sometimes every month. So at the end of the month, we're so busy with life, we're just going through and doing the things, and we don't realize what we actually accomplished in a month.
Yes.
And so I will kind of go back through my calendar and my emails to see, but you actually landed two new clients, or you did this amazing project with your team, or we got this amazing thank you letter from somebody that we worked with, and it kind of just reaffirms what you do, right? So you have to be your biggest cheerleader. That's how I see it.
And you know what? I think that sometimes we take for granted those things.
Yeah.
We take for granted. And I love what you just said. Respect the journey. Respect the lessons, the blessings that you've gotten, and just look back over, because the jewels are within.
The jewels are within, but we have to take the time and stop focusing on what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, block out the noise.
We have to wear the blinders.
Yes.
So we have to put on the blinders sometimes. So like I tell people all the time, like I have amazing friends on different platforms online. I mute a lot of them. So I don't block them,
but just
I love them, but I mute them because I don't want it to go in my space. And then even though I know I'm doing well, I may feel like I'm not doing enough because they're doing a lot.
That's important.
So I have to protect my mindset.
Yeah. No, that's important. I like that idea. We're writing. We're noting, guys. I hope you're journaling, because again, this is a show that sow seeds that others can learn from. I think that's very, very, very important, especially on this journey of purpose. We don't have all the answers.
No, we don't.
We don't. And self-doubt, fear, anxiety, all these things come at you.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
And don't be afraid to ask for another.
Right. Because they say all the time, success leaves clues, right?
Yeah.
So we have access to everybody. We can read their books. We can listen to their podcasts. We can watch their YouTube videos. We can do all the things.
Why are we not doing it?
Why are we not doing it? We don't have to, a lot of people say, I don't have a mentor that I can sit down and talk to. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you can still reach out and learn from others it's really through their journeys that we're learning, right?
Right.
So it goes right back to journey mapping. So when we see people writing their memoirs and all these things, we're learning from their experiences, and we don't realize that there are so many people out there that can learn from our journeys too.
We're gonna have a part 2, but one of the areas of expertise is helping people strategically and intentionally, show up online on the online space. Why should we be mindful of our digital footprint?
Because what happens when someone searches for your name?
Yeah.
Do you know what shows up?
Oh, I had a conversation with someone the other day. Young lady. So I saw her post something, and I called him like, take that down, because you're pursuing college. Life is you're still young. So much is happening, and right now we live in an age where I can just put in Cynthia Shea Clark and everything, whether I want it or not.
Sometimes you don't even know what's coming up for you.
Yes.
So I always recommend to people, you have to do your own personal brand online audit.
Yes.
Right?
What is that?
And
what is an audit?
It starts with simply just going to Google and typing your first and last name and seeing what comes up. Because guess what? That's what comes up when someone else searches for you. Yes. So you need to at least be aware
a potential
of
job,
what's there or what's not there, right? Because what happens is you may search for yourself, you may not even see anything, right? Which is good and bad. You may search for yourself and you realize that you come up with like 10 other people because you have a very common first and last name. How do we do that? Maybe you need to start positioning yourself with your middle initial going forward so that the right you comes up.
Okay, that's a good key. Yeah.
Or you may come up and then there's stuff that you posted 20 years ago, but Google still finds it and it comes up there.
Yeah.
Or you may have your LinkedIn page because you're on LinkedIn, but you're still using it like an online resume holder and you're not actually using the platform.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn comes up in the top 5 search results, whether you're active or not.
Oh.
So if LinkedIn comes up as your first link, that should be the platform or the page that has the most updated information about you, because people are not going to be clicking on all the links related to your name. They're going to click on the first one, maybe the second one, and maybe the third. So it's important to know, if you do show up online, what's that first link that comes up for you, because that's what needs to be updated first. And then we have to ensure that our online profiles look like the same person.
Yeah.
Right? Because, especially women, we change our hair, we do all these things, but we still need to look like the same person, so we're not confusing people. So if you've updated your profile on Instagram, update it on LinkedIn, update it on Facebook. Make sure it's the same person that we're all seeing, right?
Okay.
If you change a job, make sure you change the job title. So you have a responsibility to make sure that, because we can't control what comes up in that Google search, but ensuring that at least what comes up is accurate information that really reflects who you are and what you want to be known for. So that's what's important, because people use that to make decisions about you without meeting you or not.
Yes.
And even for jobs, right? HR companies are now looking for you on LinkedIn, right? Without you being even aware. Some of them are not even posting jobs in the newspapers anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you send in your resume, they do their own online search to see what shows up, because sometimes
Yes.
people write these beautifully crafted resumes and they show up for the interview and it's great, but then when I search for you online, you're a totally different person.
Yeah.
And people will say that, but my profile is private, or why are they going on my social media? But they have to ensure that they are protecting their brand too.
Yes.
So a lot of us forget that when we work for a company, we also become a part of their brand, and their brand becomes a part of us.
Yes.
So
I don't think a lot of people
they don't
know
think
that,
I
or
don't think they
yeah.
think of it like that.
No.
And so it's not that they want to fasten your business,
Yeah.
but they have to make sure you're a good fit.
Yes.
And you represent their values
Yes.
too, right?
Yes.
For their
Yes.
brand.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
part of
Yes.
the culture, everything. So
Yes.
to me, I think it's just that we are the brand guardians for our brand. So we have to make sure that we're showing up the way that we want to be addressed by the rest of the world. And we get to do that by choosing what we post, what we comment on, because we don't, even if we have an opinion, doesn't mean we have to post it.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to
Yeah.
post everything.
What would you say, Naomi, is the common downfall or mistake people make when developing their brand?
I think it's a couple of things. It's one, not respecting the journey, right? So not taking the time to appreciate your
major
own
one, yeah.
journey. I
Yeah.
feel like we're very focused on trying to be everybody else,
Yeah.
right? And not realizing that
please everybody else.
or please everybody else,
Yeah.
right? And that's why I think that first part about just getting that clarity on yourself, like why are you doing these things? Why are you choosing these goals? Why are you interested in this profession? Do I actually like the job that I'm in right now? I think that's where it has to start. So most of my clients that I do for just individual coaching are usually individuals that are, I would say, anywhere between 40 and 65 who have had a long career path. They've done all the things, but they've realized that this is actually not what I want to do. Is it too late for me to reposition my brand? And it's because you probably started a job at a young age and you just continued and you worked your way through the company, but that's actually not what you want to do.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are in your personal brand journey, it's okay to take a moment and let's just do that introspection. Is this really the direction that I want to go, right? Do I even know what my core values are and what's important for me and what's my driving force? So I remember I had gone to a conference a couple of years ago, and that's the first time I heard that term, driving force. And they asked us all, "What's your driving force?" I was like, I don't know what even I don't even know what that means. And when I thought about it, I would say that at that time, I would have said my driving force was my son. He's 16 now, but that was a driver for everything that I did. That's what led to entrepreneurship and everything, because I wanted to have freedom and flexibility so that I could take him to school, pick him up, do these things, and just have more time with him, because both my parents were entrepreneurs. So I got to be around them a lot, and I wanted a similar experience.
Okay.
Now that he's like a man-child and I really only see him when he wants something to eat, my driving force has shifted a little bit. And for me now, it's more about creating impact and inspiring others. But I do that from my journey. And that's what led to coaching, because I realized that a lot of people don't realize the greatness that they have within themselves. And sometimes you just have to sit with someone and show them. And the best way to see that greatness is to understand your journey. So that's really it. It's you. Everything is you.
Everything.
And you have to just take the time to appreciate where you're coming from and pick up the things. What are the commonalities on my journey? What were the things that, like, when someone approached me with this question or this opportunity or asked for help with something and I got really excited? Like, think about, what would I do for free given the opportunity, right? I'll just do it because I love it so much.
Because you love it. Yeah, because
right?
it sets your soul on fire. What is that thing?
That's a very key indicator to kind of give you an idea of what you should be doing.
Yes.
And I understand we all have bills to pay and we have to do the work, but at the same time, you could, even within your work establishment, maybe you're in accounting, but you really, when you get to go to a marketing event, you love it.
Yeah.
See how you can, intern kind of.
Yeah.
And do some of the things. So we have to explore the things that actually come naturally to us and look out for those opportunities and not be afraid sometimes to do these things for free, because sometimes it's the only way for us to really get to see if there's something that we like.
Yeah, I find that a lot of persons, that word free is just like, my God, wait, no, you have to pay me for that. But you're missing out on an opportunity
We have to look at the opportunity, right?
look at that. This opportunity could help you grow and help you evolve, or even show you something that you really want to be doing.
Absolutely.
But you've stopped yourself because I don't understand.
It goes back to mindset.
Yeah. Yes.
So it goes. So it really goes back to mindset. But I think that's
does.
one of the main things is that we don't take the time to actually do the work.
No.
Do the self work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The self work is very important.
Because, and again, we talk about mindset a lot, limiting beliefs, because we may grow up thinking that I'm supposed to be this particular person or have these particular things in our lives, but that's not actually aligned with my true self, right? Who I am at my core and what actually gives me joy.
Right.
And so for me, I think it's very important about finding things that are aligned with your purpose, but are also profitable.
Yeah. Yes. So
that's a big thing for me with coaching, is saying, okay, great, I know that you love this, but as your coach, I want to see how we're going to make some money from this.
Yes.
What are the steps? Because not because you love something and you would do it for free means you need to do it for free. So we also have to look at, okay, if this is what I want to do, how can I be profitable from this? How can I use my journey to add value to somebody else's life?
Yeah. And that's another thing too, adding value. I think that's a big deal. I think we all should be adding value to other person's lives.
Yes.
As a mom, as a
just as a person.
You should always be leaving persons lighter. You should always be leaving persons feeling, as I said, being an energy booster instead of an energy drainer.
Right.
It is so important. What are some things?
And just to add to that real quick is that your personal brand is also how you want people to feel.
Yes.
Right?
It's a feeling.
It's how do people feel when you are around, or
when you leave the room,
or when you open that door.
Yes.
Are they delighted or are they disappointed? Like, how do they feel when if they get an email from you, if you show up online? All of those things matter. Jeff Bezos from Amazon says your personal brand is what people say when you're not in the room.
Yeah. Yeah, and what are they saying?
And that's
the question. What are they saying? And sometimes they're not saying the nicest things. And if they aren't saying the nicest things, why is that?
So you know what I will tell your audience that they can do, and this is a quick exercise that you can do anytime, and it's like your personal brand check-in. So you write down 5 words that you would use to describe yourself, right? That you think is your personal brand, and just ask minimum 10 people to give you 5 words that they would use to describe you, and see what comes back. See if the words that you use to describe yourself actually come back, or similar words, or if they're words that were great, but you've just never thought of those words to use with yourself, that maybe you should actually start doing more of those things so more people say that. And even if they're not so great words, at least now you know, and you have a choice with how you show up moving forward. So a lot of people will do, like, instead of doing the 10, they may just send it out on Facebook or WhatsApp or something, because remember, the universe called social media definitely has an opinion of you too. So it's interesting to see what people think of your brand just from the online interaction that they have with you. But that's a great temperature check to see what are people saying about me. And I'll tell people that work in corporate Jamaica, ask your security guard at the front desk, because I guarantee you that even the security guard that you pass every single morning, if someone were to ask them about you, they would have at least 3 words they'd use to describe you. Do you know what he's saying when they ask?
Bridge Nation, Irie Jam fam, let's do that temperature check. What are people saying about us? It's important. Okay, it's important as we're talking about showing up for ourselves and being our brand and respecting the journey. You want to know what people are saying about you.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's aligned, and if not,
exactly.
What's the work that I need to do?
And work needs to be done.
And work needs to be done.
Let's not get it twisted. We're not perfect here.
No.
Okay, no one
perfect.
is perfect. So do the temperature check. The 5 to 10 words.
Yeah, 5 to 10 words.
And
you add 5 words that you're going to write for yourself.
Right.
And then you're not going to tell the people what the words are. So you could say that you're just doing a little experiment and I want to get an idea of, how would you describe me? Can you give me 5 words?
Yeah.
That's all. And just send it out in a blast.
And see what comes back.
It's
something that you want to stick.
It's and then put those words. So like when I do these in workshops, I ask them to, when we will use a volunteer, and whoever it is, they get tons of words, and they're always surprised with what their colleagues have to say about them. I'm like, put that somewhere, put it in your journal, put it in your notebook, because there are always some great words that you just as an individual, you wouldn't use to describe yourself.
Yes.
So hearing someone else say it, you're just like, oh.
Right.
Do you think I'm this?
Right.
And it gives you a little energy
It
boost
gives you
and the validation.
Yes. Ooh.
So, yeah.
What are some things we can do to enhance and protect our personal brand?
Okay. So what I'd say, once you have that, you understand what your brand is, how you
Yes.
want to position it, you understand that value,
Yeah.
we have to start telling people. But with this digital world, we have to protect the brand as well. So there's so much happening with intellectual property right now.
Yes.
And so like one of the things, and then with a Google search, you're just not even sure what Google's going to pull up, right? So two things that I always recommend, especially for professionals, whether you're an entrepreneur, an intrapreneur, or whatever, is that you need to, if you can, reserve a domain name that's your first and last name, right?
Okay.
Create a little one-page website. Wix.com does it for free. I created my first website like that, and I have no skills in that area. But it's just a page that holds your information. Because what happens is that when you have your own website, eventually it's going to come to the top. It's going to be that first search result for your name. And it allows you to have somewhere, whether it's your resume you want to post, whether you have a little online business, whatever it is, where people go first to get the right up-to-date information about you.
Right.
So
Right
I'm
is the
very
operative word there.
yeah. If you have a small business and or you have a personal brand, so like it's your name, like your name is the brand, right? It's not a company. You need to also trademark certain things. So register your company name, trademark. So for me, PR Chick is trademarked in Jamaica and the US.
Is it easy to get trademarks here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You actually just need to go to JIPO. So Jamaica Intellectual Property something could be office.
Okay.
And it's in New Kingston. They're very helpful there. They'll do the search and then they'll direct you on how to do it. So I did it there. It's not very expensive. I mean, it's your brand that you're protecting.
you have to
And here's the
invest into
thing,
it,
right?
yeah.
You don't want to create this amazing brand
And
and then you realize
someone
that you
will
actually
capitalize
don't
it,
have legal rights to use it because someone
yes,
already
and yes,
owns
has
the
it.
name.
Yes.
So that happens a lot. So things like doing things in the meantime, like having a domain name. Or making sure you're using it all the time. You have saved all your IG handles with whether it's your personal name or the business name, and then making sure that company is trademarked in Jamaica. So I did Jamaica first, and then I went through the long process of doing it in the US, which takes a much longer time. But then I wanted the double protection because
It took a longer time because you were coming from Jamaica?
no, well, I think it's just the process in the U.S. takes a longer time. So I
Really?
went through an intellectual property lawyer, right, in the U.S. that I found online. Someone had recommended, and her company does everything. But here in Jamaica, you can just go to JIPO and do it yourself. You have to have a lawyer.
No, you're right. You're right.
Right?
And it is a process.
It is a
Yes,
process.
It's a process.
So it's
It
not.
is.
It's
You're
not
right.
It's just the process. So it could take maybe 6 months to a
Yes,
year.
you're correct. You're correct.
To get it done. But for me, I can't spend all this time building this brand
Yeah,
and then just for someone else, just because they took the time
it
to
has
do the
happened.
work,
Yeah.
that they own it now. And then I have to now pay money to try and get it back, or I have to think of something else.
Yeah. Important key, especially to our entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for
out
the
there.
entrepreneurs,
Please
protect the brand.
Protect the brand.
Yeah,
Protect
do
brand.
the work first. Do the searches first too.
Yeah.
to make sure that it's available.
Yeah.
Right, because it may be cute, and people get caught up in doing the logo and doing all the cute
Yes,
things,
yes.
and we
And
don't
then-
even own the brand.
Exactly.
So, but even from an individual now, it's just making sure that, again, the quickest way to really safeguard your brand, especially because we have this online space, making sure that whatever you have out there in this online universe is a good representation of you. So even if we think about social media, who knows what they posted 2 months ago on Instagram versus a year versus 5 years versus 10 years. So, but there are people out there that will just go through your timeline
Yes.
all the way to your first post, or they may it may just show up randomly in the Google search, right? Because every time we share something online, we're creating a digital footprint for our brand that people have access to.
Yes,
whether
I'm not
you're
even sure people understand that.
whether you're private or not private.
Not. Yeah.
It's nothing is private on the internet.
Yes.
So so we have to be very mindful of what's out there. So sometimes you just have to take some time and do even like a social media cleanse. Like, go take the time, go through all your platforms,
Yeah.
make sure that it's a good representation of you.
Yes.
Maybe who I was last year is not who I am
you are.
today,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah. And
right?
that's okay.
And that's
okay.
okay. Archive those pictures
Yep.
until you're ready to pull them up again if you need to.
Yes.
So it's just a reminder that you are the person that's in control of the brand, right? It's not others. So we have to create that narrative that we want others to use when they talk about us, right? And it's not telling you to Don't be someone you're not.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Personal
another thing
branding is
too.
about
Yep.
being your most authentic self.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
that you are curating this self for others to also say the same thing about you.
Yeah.
That's really it. Right? So it's not you creating this person that doesn't really exist, or you are faking it, for the gram.
Yeah.
It's because we see through the fakeness
Yes,
too, right?
yes,
So
yes,
it's
yes,
about
yes.
you just being your authentic self, understanding that value, and always giving value. Giving value. That's the quickest way to position yourself as a thought leader, is
Yeah.
by not trying to sell something, but to offer value, to
Offer
solve
value.
a problem for
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
What's the and that's a good question to ask yourself, right? For personal branding is,
What are you offering?
what's
Or
the
what are you
problem that I
bringing value?
solve?
Yeah.
How
Yes.
do I help you?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
what you have to be thinking of. How do I help others? Not
Yeah.
just for work, in my personal life. Like, what are the questions that people ask me about all the time?
Yeah.
That's also another good indicator of
Of
what
who you
your
are, yeah.
personal
Yes,
brand
yes,
is, right?
yes,
If,
yes.
let's say you are I don't know, social media coordinator, but you are also a sports fanatic. So people come to you all the time about the scores, about teams, about just information. That means there could be an opportunity for you
there.
in addition to what you do with your
Yeah.
digital media. How do you combine those two things to create a platform for yourself
Yeah.
where using your digital media skills that you've learned, but now combining it with your actual passion and creating something that's profitable?
And if you're an entrepreneur, you are an extension of the brand, that and being that your authentic self is so important. If you show up as one, if you pretend to be somebody online and then as somebody buck you up outside and you're somebody totally different,
It's confusing.
it's confusing and it hurts you.
And it hurts your
It
brand.
hurts you. It hurts your brand. So show up as your most authentic self. Right now, Naomi, someone is about to launch a product, launch a company, or they're thinking of what's next for them. They started their career young, but now the career isn't serving them. They want to pivot. What do you say? Where do they go?
Okay. So first thing I'd say is do the journey mapping exercise. That's the first thing. So you want to look at specific things, so you can write down these things. You want to look at your education.
Yeah.
You want to look at your skills. You want to look at your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, right? So what are you expert level in based on your journey, or you want to be, so then you know what else you need to do. Then you want to look at your online what's showing up for you online, because people are already searching for you and you may not be aware. So you could be missing opportunities that are already aligned or waiting for you because you're not showing up in the space. Do the online audit simply by starting with a Google search, seeing what's showing up for you, and then editing whatever needs to be edited, deleting what needs to be deleted, but making sure it's aligned with this person that you are becoming or you're about to show up as. Do that introspection. So start with getting that clarity of understanding what your core values are, what are you passionate about, what's you driving first, why are you doing this, right? And then looking at using the journey map to now look at the value. Now you're looking back to see what is the value that I've brought to others, and even asking people, like getting testimonials, like what do you love most about what I do or what I did in this experience. So if you have existing clients from before, bring those over, because it also helps to strengthen and break down the limiting beliefs that you may have had about yourself, right?
Yeah.
We want to kick down imposter syndrome.
We absolutely
so
do.
Sometimes you have to do that. And then understanding your audience. What's this value that you're going to bring to your audience? Who are they? Where are they located? Where are they showing up online? And then also, what's the value that you want to offer to them?
Yeah.
So like I always tell people to think about, what's the top 10 questions that someone that needs your product or service would be asking?
Yeah.
So even when you're thinking of how you're going to show up online, that's what you should be answering in your content.
Yeah.
Again, it's about just understanding your value so that you can express your value to others, so that you can be of service to others.
Where can our listeners find you?
So you can find me at the PR Chick on Instagram.
Yeah.
I am NaomiGarrick.com. So that's the hub for all things.
I am NaomiGarrick.com.
And I'll tell you why it's I am Naomi Garrick. I talk about saving your domain name, right? So I didn't realize I had saved my domain name years ago. So when I was ready to use the domain name, I couldn't find it. Like I couldn't, I'm searching and it said someone owned it already. I'm like, oh my God, why would someone own Naomi
And
Garrick?
you owned it.
So I started I am NaomiGarrick.com, not realizing I am the owner. So I'm going to merge the two now. So.
Yes. So I am NaomiGarrick.com.
NaomiGarrick.com.
Please, guys, if you're on this brand, you should be on this brand identity journey, making sure you're showing up as yourself, showing up for not just yourself, for others. Reach out to Naomi. I certainly am. We're going to have a whole off the air conversation. Again, here on Chasing Purpose, we sow seeds others benefit from. Naomi, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
All right.